You're listening to NorthWoods Church Matters, a podcast of NorthWoods Church in Evansville, Indiana, where we discuss why the local church matters and things that matter to the local church. I'm your host, Matt Higgins. Welcome back to the NorthWoods Church Matters podcast. I'm here with our lead pastor, Bobby Pell, and we're going to discuss coronavirus yet again. I bet you're sick of hearing about coronavirus. I know that we are. We're ready for 2021 already. Hopefully better things are in store for 2021 than 2020. I'm just kind of writing off the year at this point in time. So, Bobby, could you tell us how things have been going in terms of NorthWoods and how we've been handling coronavirus and how our people have been doing?
Yeah, I think I'm encouraged. I mean, we from a church attendance perspective, we were sort of level of at about 275 people for quite a while. And then the last 4 weeks we've really begun to see a bump. We saw, 325, 375, 350, and then last Sunday we saw over 400. And in the midst of that, if you've been a part of our services, you also know over the last few months we have baptized people. And so it's not just simply been about church attendance, but we've seen good kingdom growth. And then the last 4 weeks, numbers have increased as it relates to worship attendance. And that's also, the people have also been faithful to abide by the governor's executive order, and we've appreciated that as well.
So we're at a point right now where our second service actually is feeling a little bit tight, and we hear people when they say, "Oh, there's a lot of people that are here today." So is there anything that we're considering to deal with the fact that we're having more people attend?
And you set that softball up really well.
Go take a swing, baby.
Okay. So yeah, so the attendance has grown to the point that it's getting harder to social distance. And this is less about, there used to be these church growth numbers that basically said when 70% of your seatable seats were filled, you were full. And for us, that was about 250, 260 on Sunday morning. Then we knew we needed to add a service. Well, in COVID, throw everything away.
Sure. So church growth numbers don't apply anymore.
Do not apply.
Yeah.
It's now just about, do people feel like they have social distance room? And I think that we now are having people walk in because people don't show up on time, and people walk in and their head's on a swivel, and they start having to look around, and God forbid they have to walk down front to find seats, especially in the second service, or actually the first service, the 9:15 service.
Yeah.
And so I would just say we're having to consider a third service, and it's really beyond considering we're going to have to do a third service, because our last Sunday we had over 400 people. And because of that, praise God, we don't want people to stop coming. We want to continue, but we can't get to, if you would, our pre-COVID numbers. We were running about 500 before COVID. We can't do that in 2 services anymore.
Not with all the chairs that we've taken out of the sanctuary. I don't know that a lot of people have known that because of social distancing, we have taken chairs out of the sanctuary.
That's right. And so we're going to have to add a third service. We're either going to add a service at 8 o'clock in the morning, or we're looking at potentially adding a service at noon. And so the same day that people are hearing this podcast, as the podcast is being released, you're also receiving a monkey survey, where we're needing to understand, are people willing to attend an 8 o'clock service, commit to that, to come to an 8 o'clock service in order to give more space at the next 2 services? Or are you willing to commit to come to the noon service in order to give more space to the earlier 2 services? And this survey will be a little bit different than the past surveys we've done about 3 services, because this time we're actually going to ask, what's your name? In the past, it's been anonymous. This time we're going to want to know what's your name, how many people are in your family, because we need to know who's in. This is a commitment, and you are sacrificing on behalf of others.
Yeah, because one of the things we're trying to figure out is when we add, not if we add, when we add this third service, how much is it going to relieve some of the tightness in the other services? And so we need to be able to plan to see, is this going to be enough of a kind of letting the plug out of the bathtub so you have some more room in there.
Yeah, and we also know, like, if Joe Blow says they're going to come to the 8 o'clock service, we know generally what service Joe Blow goes to.
Yeah.
So we know which service we're going to actually be gaining space from. Sort of a question for you. What are you seeing children's ministry wise?
Children's ministry has been growing slowly, just like the worship service has been growing slowly. Our numbers have been bumping up slowly, and people have been cautious about coming back to church. I want to thank people because they've been very gracious and very good about additional precautions that we're doing, anything ranging from temperature checks to giving us time to clean, picking up your kids right away. I mean, those are all things that are just extremely helpful to us, and we're thankful that we haven't had any pushback or anybody that's complained about it. You've just gone with the flow and rolled with the punches. So we're thankful for that, because it's been a difficult transition for us in terms of staff as well. One change that we're going to make this upcoming Sunday is that we're going to have the temperature check station moved. There was just some congestion, too much congestion in the glass lobby because people were waiting for temperature check, and we'll have more people on hand to do that, just because we realize that's a place where we can have a log jam, and we don't want there to be a log jam. And so there'll be a little transition there. I will say that in terms of our kids numbers, the one area where things haven't bounced back is just families with smaller kids, either with nursery age kids or 1s and 2s. Those are the classes that haven't bounced back. And I get it that that age, parents are protective of their kids.
Sure.
And that's no knock against those people. And, our message to you is do whatever you feel comfortable. So, I mean, if you don't feel like you're ready yet to come back to church, that's fine. I mean, we'll be here when you get back. We're not going to pressure you. We're not going to call you and say, why aren't you coming to church, and quote Hebrews 10:25. I mean, we're going to really try to care for you as best as possible. So Bobby, on that vein, what would you say to somebody that is just still leery of coming back to church at this point in time?
Yeah, I would say, if you're afraid because of COVID, then I'm not here. I'm not casting judgment. I want you to be obedient to the Lord, and I want you to care for your family. I'm not here to throw stones at that person. I'm just not. I am grateful every time we have worship and there's real people in the room, because I remember when we didn't have them. And I remember preaching to just a camera. And I really look forward to worship in a new way, because I love being with God's people. I don't believe that those who are afraid to come because of COVID don't want to be with God's people.
Right.
I just believe they're not ready yet. The thing that we always have to be concerned about, just spiritually, is people are right now having to create a new habit. It's a new spiritual habit of coming back to church.
Absolutely.
And I would just say, if that's your situation where you're coming back to church, and you have begun that habit, then continue the habit. If you're not there yet, you're not going to have judgment from us. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we do appreciate is I had one parent that texted me recently to talk about some things that she'd like for there to happen so that she can bring her kids back to church. I really appreciated that feedback because I've only gotten one person that sent me a message or an email or anything like that. And we want to know where we're failing or what we could do better. And, we always appreciate giving us feedback. So please give us feedback.
Yeah, one of the questions that's going to come out on the survey is a question so some churches, what they're doing is they're adding a service for the elderly or for people who are immune suppressed. And that becomes a service that is designated for them. We're asking that question because it may be that there are people who want to come to church, but they just don't feel like they can. We know that Schnucks and Meyer has had an hour of shopping for the elderly and the immune suppressed. Costco, I know, has done the same thing. Well, we don't have any problem making a worship service available for the elderly and the immune suppressed if that's what becomes what is necessary to help people feel as if, well, I'm comfortable coming then. We just need to be told.
Yeah, and if whatever your age, it doesn't have to be just a parent. Like if there's somebody out there that's listening and they're having trouble in their walk with the Lord right now, whether it be getting to church or getting discipled or finding a small group of people to connect with, let us know. And we're here to help you. I mean, we don't want to create obstacles for the gospel. We want to create opportunities for the gospel. So if you need us to create an opportunity for you, that's what we're here for. So let us know.
For those who are attending church
Yeah.
right now, that's actually what we're asking you to do. Is we're actually asking you to create an opportunity for the gospel to be heard on Sunday morning by sliding over into one of the less attended services that we're about to create at either 8 or noon. And so just sort of note that. Now, do I recognize that creates sacrifice? 100%. There's no one on our staff. There's no one on the media team. There's no one who's shouting, please, let's do 3 services. We're doing this because we believe it is necessary for us to do it for the pushing forward of corporate worship and the gospel. So that's why we're doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Another question, Awana.
Yeah.
What's the status there?
Yeah, so we're going to have an interesting semester of Awana. We sat down this summer with our Awana leaders and just thought about how do we do it. It was never a question if we do it. It was always a question about how do we do it and how do we minister to families. And one of our concerns that we had was just our space that we have here and how to social distance smaller kids, because that can become exceptionally difficult, especially that one of the main things that we do in Awana is games. I mean, that's a big component of it. And we thought about an option for Awana where we just have a large group time and small group time and don't do games. And we were even concerned about that and social distancing, especially in our cubbies and puggles type classes, the smaller kids. And so what we've decided to do is a hybrid. And here's the way the hybrid is going to work. And so there's going to be a large group lesson as normal, but it's going to be virtual. And so instead of coming here to church to see the large group lesson, you watch the lesson every week, whether it be for TNT or Sparks or Cubbies. And then just like normal, there's work at home. You work through that section of the book that week. And then here's where things get interesting. So we always have a small group leader that checks off on your book. And so we're going to give you the option. Do you want to meet with somebody virtually or do you want to meet with somebody in person? And that can even be on Wednesday night, which is our normal Awana night. There just won't be the large group lesson or won't be the games component, but you can still have that person check off and meet with your kid and still form that relationship. Some of our small group leaders have been contacting me and saying, I've been leading this kid for 2 years in a row, and I really want that connection the 3rd year of Awana. And I think that's what's really special about Awana. And then once a month, we're going to have time to interact, that we're going to have a celebration every month. This is going to be something new and maybe something we continue on doing in the future when we get back to in-person Awana. is that every month we're going to get together and celebrate the kids' achievements for the month. And so it'll be on a Sunday afternoon. We'll tell you the date in advance, and your kids will be able to come in, and it'll be something like ice cream. And so, like,
I'm in.
yeah, exactly. So we've done things before, like every kid gets ice cream, but you get to pick the number of toppings based on the number of sections that you've done in your book.
So will that be done like Cubbies, and we'll have one Sunday, or is that all the Awana kids?
It'll be all the Awana kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So that'll be super fun. So we'll have something fun for the kids where they can interact with each other in a socially distant way. It'll be kind of a drop-in thing, but we're excited about that. I think that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for my leaders that thought of that. And just to let people know, everything we're doing this semester is just for this semester so far.
Okay.
That we're thinking about the following semester, and it just depends on the way things happen. But our goal is to get back to in-person stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, we talked in staff meeting the other day that is as much as we can really plan in concrete is about 6 weeks right now.
Right.
Outside of that, who knows?
Yeah,
I mean,
back in the thick of it in March, April, it was about a week.
Yeah, it felt like an hour. I mean, if you could plan the next hour, good luck.
Yeah.
I mean, because you just don't know what's about to happen around the corner.
Yeah, I mean, it was literally to the point of we'd have a staff meeting at 9:00, and then there'd be a press conference sometime in the day, and then everything we planned at 9:00 was completely thrown out.
That is so true. That happened more than once.
Oh, it happened more than once. It was so frustrating, and just wanted to pull. I don't have any hair to pull out. Maybe pull out my beard hair.
Right.
So if somebody is feeling just disconnected from NorthWoods, what would you recommend at this point in time?
I would say 2 or 3 things. One is that NorthWoods is not a building. NorthWoods is a people. And so I would say we have the ability to connect you to people who are a part of NorthWoods, even if you feel like you cannot attend here right now. And so let us know how we can help you be connected to people within the body of Christ. And that feeling of disconnection is actually a good thing. That is God, through His Spirit, communicating that you are needed. You are a needed part of the body, and we are needed for each other. And so, even though that feels weird, I would celebrate that sense of disconnection. Let's help you feel more connected. And then I would say as well, celebrate the fact that you miss church. And let's look forward to the day that you're here. I mean, I really, one of the things I've been walking through the Psalms in some of my own personal devotions, and the psalmist in his personal devotions, oftentimes he can't wait to be in the congregation.
Right. Can't wait to get to the temple.
He can't wait.
Yeah.
I think that if you miss corporate worship, don't suppress that. Get online, do what you can do, but still look forward to when you can.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. And in the meantime, let's connect with people.
Yeah, I think one of the encouraging things from in the middle of COVID is people were recognizing the disconnectedness from the body was a problem.
Right.
I think it's when we're Christians and we don't feel that sense of disconnectedness from the body when we're away from the body, that's a problem.
Exactly.
The feeling of I can do this on my own, I can live the Christian life separately, that's a huge problem in the life of the believer.
That's right.
All right, Bobby, anything else you want to add today?
No, I would just ask you to, as you get the survey, please fill it out and let us know if you're able to help us with a third service. It looks like that's what we're doing in order to push forward the gospel. I'll finish with a verse. That's
always wise.
It's Philippians chapter number 2, which we are working through the book of Philippians. But in Philippians chapter 2, starting in verse 2, it says, "Complete my joy," Paul says, "by being of the same mind, have the same love, be in full accord of one mind. Do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves." That's all I got.
Awesome. And we'll be coming back at you with more podcasts soon. We're in the preparation work for it. What we're going to be doing in the near future is not going to be just a podcast. It's going to be a vodcast. Da-da-da! Meaning that not only can you see us, you'll be, or not only can you hear us, but you'll be able to see us too, which
means I've got to shave.
You've got to shave, wear pants.
I've got pants.
Let's not start that rumor. You're not coming in your pajamas, so we'll have to actually, look nice for the camera when we do that. So that's in the near future. You'll be able to see our smiling faces and all the faces that these people make when I ask them a weird question.
Yeah, and there are faces.
Yeah, there are faces, so you get to see them soon. Have a good week, guys. Thanks for tuning in to the NorthWoods Church Matters podcast. If you'd like to find out more about NorthWoods Church, you can visit us at our website, www.northwoodschurch.org. Again, that's www.northwoodschurch.org.